everybody. I'm Nieve Malandra, your domestic goddess, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm making a very delicious and nutritious homemade pesto sauce over butternut squash noodles. So there are no carbs in this dish. It's absolutely healthy, nutritious, and super duper easy to make. So, ready? Let's go. To make a carb-free keto diet pasta out of butternut squash. Butternut squash, when you bake it and you take a fork to it, it comes out as beautiful noodles, and it's a wonderful replacement for pasta. And we're going to do a pesto sauce, which is something that in the area where my family's from, pesto is really big, so it's something I grew up eating. It's absolutely delicious, and it's super duper easy. It's raw, there's no cooking involved. The only thing you have to do is cut the squash and put it in the oven. So let's get right to it. So our meal today has two parts. The first part is the squash. We're going to cut it open. We've already done that before the video. I actually had to have somebody else do it because it's just too hard for me to do. But once you get it cut open, it will look like this. You're just gonna cut it in half. And the second part is the sauce, the pesto sauce, which is raw and can be vegan. If you want to do a vegan version, just don't put the cheese. Everything else will work exactly the same way. It'll be really delicious without the cheese. But I'm not vegan, so I use cheese. Anyways, it's going to be made out of fresh basil plants, olive oil, garlic olive oil, sea salt, pepper, garlic of course, pine nuts, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese, or you can use Romano cheese. And a blender, you're gonna need a blender, and you're going to need a garlic crusher. And basically, yeah, just a pan, a baking pan or sheet for the oven for the squash. So to make the pesto, you're gonna take one of these plants that I buy from Trader Joe's. They're really full. I love the plants from Trader Joe's. I bought them before at Whole Foods, but they were really kind of tiny. So I prefer Trader Joe's. And you're just gonna start picking off the leaves. It smells really fragrant. It smells amazing. My kids love the smell. They've already come by here and grabbed a few leaves. The blender already has a measuring cup area, so I'm gonna do 2 cups like the recipe in the description. I put the servings and the measurements, and you want it to be packed, so 2 cups packed. So you push it down right here. It's not 2 cups yet, so we'll keep going. Just try to stay away from the stems, just take the leaves off. All right, I'm gonna pack it down. And that's about 2 cups, perfect. Next, we're gonna throw in the garlic. Going to throw in the 1/2 cup of pine nuts. If you don't have pine nuts, you don't have to use them. You could also use walnuts, but pine nuts traditionally is a good, sort of gives it a creamy texture. The cheese, put some salt in there, some pepper. Shaky, shaky, shaky. And olive oil. Give it some nice, it'll blend easier with the olive oil in there. And then we're gonna take it over to the blender and blend it up, and it's gonna be a beautiful, healthy sauce, pesto sauce. You have all your ingredients in the blender. Now, all you're going to do is press blend. And voila, it's a beautiful aromatic pesto sauce. It's perfect. So part of my Malandra method of cooking is I'm all about cleanup, keeping everything clean. There is very little mess. A lot of people say to me, oh, I love to cook, but I hate the mess. I make a big, huge mess. I see all these pictures on Facebook with people's kitchens, stuff everywhere. I don't believe in that. Here's what I do. Like I always say, I have this warm soapy water in one part of my sink. And everything we use, I just throw it in there, because that's the one part before it goes in the dishwasher. We didn't use the garlic crusher because we just threw everything in the blender. and the cup of olive oil. And then now we're going to talk about the squash. It's very easy. I'm going to show you how to bake some squash and make a low carb keto diet pasta alternative that is delicious and very healthy. So to make the noodles, you just want to get rid of the junk that's in the center of the butternut squash or spaghetti squash, whatever you want to call it. It has a few names. You're going to take a fork and you're just going to hold it over the garbage can and carve out the seeds and the extra junk that's in the middle. Actually, it's not junk. The seeds will actually grow more spaghetti squash, which would be amazing in a perfect situation, but we're not doing that right now. We're throwing away the seeds. And we're going to just get rid of the extra stuff. So now that we have our pretty much cleaned out halves of the butternut squash, we're going to take, what'd you do with the olive oil? We're going to take our olive oil and just sort of drizzle it over the butternut squash. Put some salt, some pepper. I usually rub the top of the butternut squash with the oil, so it's covered in oil. Now that you have the olive oil, salt, and pepper rubbed all over the butternut squash, you're going to put it face down. My hands are slippery. And you're going to preheat the oven 400 degrees, like I said in the description. And you're going to take it over to the oven, put it in there, and leave it for about 40 minutes. I already have a set in there that I'm going to take out actually because we did it earlier, so we have it ready. That's hot. I'm going to leave it alone for a few minutes. So when you get it out of the oven and you turn it over, it's like that. It smells delicious. I wish that we had scratch and sniff video so you could smell it. All you're going to do is sort of rake out the insides and it turns into noodles, basically. They look like pasta noodles. It's very, very hot right now, so I'm going to hold it like this with a fork and carve out some noodles. These ones are not as spaghetti-like. You just kind of go like this with a fork. Smells amazing. And next we're going to pour some of the pesto sauce on there. You have a beautiful plate of low carb, no carb actually, spaghetti squash with pesto.